guys, right? To sort of call them out in a setting like this, because once you've done that, then the base of the pyramid is pretty much right. It's like having a cracked foundation on your home, right? And anyone who lives in California and experiences earthquakes, you know, a cracked foundation is not a good thing, right? But that's what you do if you sort of critique publicly, right? But public praise is very good, as long as it's rooted in performance. So it can't be Ulysses. You're really articulate, or you really speak well, right? It's got to be Ulysses. Again, I really like the ways in which you unpacked Freud's concept of whatever it may have been, right? Would you mind if I share some of the things you wrote to the class with the class? So really sort of thinking about and recognizing that this public praise is not something that most of our men of color have gotten in their educational experience and so forth. And then we talk about the influence on validation and work ethic and some of those psychosocial, some of those other psychosocial concepts that come into the work. Authentic care. What are some things that we can do to convey authentic care? We can arrive a few minutes early and we can leave a few minutes late. Why is that? Because we know when we ask that question, who has questions, that oftentimes when we think about help-seeking concerns, we know that men of color, at least they often report to us in the work that we do, is I am reluctant to seek help because I don't want to reinforce this idea that I'm not college material, that I'm dumb, that I'm stupid, that I'm all these things that I've heard about me, or I've heard about students who share my identities, right? So coming to class early if we can, arriving, staying a few minutes late, gives an opportunity to sort of have those informal interactions where those questions or those concerns might be shared with you. Connecting students with students as individuals. It's knowing their name, it's knowing something about them, right? Even if it's one little thing that might not seem that significant to you, but when you can say to a student, you know, hey, Ulysses, how was work today? And you have some sense of where he works and what he does, then that can really go a long way towards building a relationship with students. Being willing to engage them outside of class. Oftentimes what students, what our men of color will tell us is that when they see their faculty outside of class, faculty avoid them, right? They pretend to be on their phones. They do a whole bunch of other things that conveys to the student, I'm really not interested in engaging you in any real authentic way. So don't even try it, right? So we have to think about the impact there. Disclosing, appropriate disclosing. We talk about sharing with students our educational journeys. I think everyone in this room, regardless of how successful we may have been, had to overcome some challenges and barriers in persisting towards where we are. So using those as opportunities to talk with students and being fully present, right? We all have a million things to do at any given time. Some of us are faculty, some of us are leading committees and so forth. But when we have a few minutes to spend with students, really taking the time to be fully present during those few minutes, right? Which we often say it's better to be fully present for 5 minutes than to sort of be half listening for a longer period of time. So we get into those things. Intrusive relationship building is something that we are strong advocates about in the work that we do. We talked about this already, about knowing students' name and learning it as early as you can. Avoiding the approach me first, improve your first stances. We've had faculty and colleagues tell us that yes, I have students who I work well with, who I work closely with, but it's only the students who come to me first and tell me that it's something that they're interested in. Or it's the students who prove to me that they're worthy of my time and attention, right? So we got to think about that as faculty and as educators. We know because of concerns related to help seeking and masculinity and some of the other things that men of color are going to be among the least likely to approach you first. First of all, there's typically going to be some mistrust, right, about who is this professor, what does this professor think about me, what assumptions or what stereotypes does he hold or she hold of me. How are we on time? Am I going too far? How many? Oh, okay, cool. I'll move a little bit faster. So we have to avoid the approach me first and prove yourself first stances. Checking in with those who disappear, being willing to reach out to students. Perhaps a student has disappeared because there's some personal issue that you may be able to make a referral to some sort of campus service that could actually be the difference in them staying versus dropping out or stopping out. And when you do so, facilitating connections with colleagues, right? So it's not just Ulysses, go to career services, or Ulysses, go to counseling, and someone there to help you. It's Vanessa, I have Ulysses in my office. Here's a concern he's having. I think you might be able to support him. I'm sending him over right now. Please, if you can, be there to receive him and get him connected, right? So recognizing that that it's really the people behind the services that make the difference. It's not just the service itself. Relationships are really important, not only in a classroom context, but also in the support services context as well. So we have to think about that. And we really dig into these concepts in a much deeper way than what we have time to do in this 1 hour or so session. But that's really what the type of things that we're getting at in the course. Yep. Just one slide.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so the last, I mentioned at the very